Welcome to Land House. Today I'm going to be making this do-it-yourself rustic bedside table. Now the plans originally came from the Rogue Engineer. I'll have a link to his site in the description down below. If you're interested in this table, then continue watching. To get started with this build, I have 16 L brackets and a can of spray paint. I'm going to go outside and set these up and paint these black. I need several 2x2s for this project, so I'm going to rip down 4 2x4s in half so that I have 2x2s. First I need 2 2x2 cut 24 inches. I need 2 2x2 21 inches long. I need 8 2x2 17.5 inches long. I need 4 2x2 22.5 inches long. All the 2x2 cuts are done. Now it's time to move on to the 2x4s. I need 6 2x4 21 inches long. And the last cut is 5 2x4 cut at 17.5 inches. A quick recap of the wood needed for building one of these bedside tables. Let's start with the 2x2s. 2 at 24, 2 at 21, 4 at 22.5, and 8 17.5. And now for the 2x4s, 5 at 17.5 and 6 at 21.5, or at 21. Now for a task that is one of my least favorites, and that is getting the sanding done. I'm going to take an 80 grit paper here and get all of these sanded down once and probably come back with a 220 disc and kind of fine tune all of the wood. So let me do this and we'll come back whenever I have everything sanded down. While I'm over here sanding all of these boards, I thought it would be the perfect time to introduce to you the Land House Ultralight sleeping pad for backpack camping. It comes in this little tiny pouch, has a drawstring. You can pull it out of the bag here and unfold it. And I want to show you what it can do for you here. Now when you unfold it, it looks really tall. But it's actually going to shrink whenever it's inflated. But it's got the Land House logo here at the top. And then on the back side, it's got this little valve here. It's actually got a second valve inside. So you just pop that open. And it's got another little diaphragm valve. And you just sit here. It takes about 6 breaths to get it totally filled. Depending on how much lung capacity you have, in my description I say may take up to 15. So once it's full, you just pop this valve back and there you go. So as you can see, it's a lot shorter now. But it's got this diamond shape and that really helps keep the air from just sliding around whenever you're laying on it. And I've spent 6 nights on this as of the filming of this video, and it is super comfortable, and I love how it is less than a pound. So if you're looking for an ultralight sleeping pad, then check out the link in the description down below. Alright, back to this project. After some time, I have all of the boards sanded down, and they're looking nice. It's time to use the Kreg pocket hole jig to get this assembled. I have a link to this in the description if you don't have one of these jigs. They are quite handy. We're gonna line it up here in the vise, get that clamped down, and then I need to set it up here to accommodate a 2x4. I'm gonna move this pin out of here and then pull this up. There's a gauge on the other side here that will adjust by a 1.5 inch thickness on a board, which is 2x material. Okay, I have my drill bit connected here into the drill, and I'm just going to run the pocket hole real quick. There we go. Simple as that. Gonna pop that loose, move the board down some, and put one on the other side here. And that's what the pocket hole looks like there. It's just a very steep angled drill bit hole that the pocket hole screw will fit into there. I'm going to repeat this process on the other 5 2x4s here until they all look like this one, where they just have the 2 pocket holes in there. So I'm going to find the prettier side, which I assume is that one, and I'm going to put the hole in the back side. The 2 pocket holes are drilled into each of these 6 2x4s, which are 21 inches long. Now the last one, I'm going to flip up and put another pocket hole into the back side facing the other direction, and that's going to be attaching these 2x2s. So they should look like that, opposing pocket holes. Now, all of those 6 21-inch 2x4s are done. On the 21-inch 2x2s, I need to put a single pocket hole in the very end. So I'm just going to flip that up here, match it up pretty close to the middle, and put a single pocket hole into that as well. Now with all 6 of the 21-inch 2x4s, we want to have a pocket hole screw going on the end as well, just like we did with the smaller 2x2, and that is to connect the outside board that will be on here. So just like the others, I'm going to put this in here long ways and drill a single pocket hole screw down this way. Okay, assembly time. The first thing I want to do is place the 2x4 that has the 2 different directions here on the pocket holes, and that is going to be what attaches this outside board to the inside board there. So that one's going to be first in line, and then the next is just going to make sure that the pocket holes go off in this direction so that they will always be lined up correctly here. Now, if you've got a keen eye, you'll notice this board right here is slightly smaller than the others. Because I bought 2x4s and ripped them down, I cut out material, and this had to be a slight bit smaller to fit the dimensions of this project. So if you buy 2x2s, you can avoid that rip down step there, but it's all good. Okay, lastly, I'm going to put this one here. Oops, I got this board right here backwards. All right, so make sure all these are on this edge going that way, and it should allow you to get this piece attached here. So now I'm going to put the 24-inch 2x2s here on the edges, and I want to make sure that the less attractive side is facing upward in this case, because it'll be flipped over to the other side here in just a little while. All right. So the first thing I want to do is start attaching these screws into the edge to make sure this is flush. So I've got my 2.5-inch screws. Got the drill with the pocket hole square on there. Okay. I'm putting these in a little bit slowly to make sure it doesn't twist on me. let's see how we did here. I'm gonna flip this over. Nice. I like that a lot. Possibly could have done better at pushing that ledge down over there, but luckily everything is sanded and looks nice. So I like that a lot. And I think this board is just barely smaller, so it doesn't stick out too bad. I don't think if you didn't mention it, nobody would notice. So, all right, that's the top. It is done. I may come back later and do a second sanding on all the exposed surfaces to make it even more smooth before staining. But let's set this aside and work on the next piece. Now it's time to build the shelf, which is the part underneath the tabletop. I've got 5 2x4 17.5 inches long and 2 2x2s that are 17.5 inches. I'm going to actually be doing pretty much the same thing as before. I'm going to have one board that's going to have 2 different directions of pocket hole and then one on the end, and the others will just have the single direction, and then once again this piece will have a single pocket hole screw on the end. So I'm going to get started putting all the pocket holes in here, and then we will get this assembled. Now it's time to assemble the shelf. Now I have these side boards here and here clamped down just as a guide to keep all of these straight while I'm putting these together. So these will be unclamped and removed whenever it's time to get this put into position. So I'm just going to go along here and put in the pocket hole screws just as before. The remaining 6 of these 2x2 17.5 inch boards need to have 2 pocket holes drilled into each side because they'll be supporting a bit of weight. So if you look on your jig, there's a place where there are 2 together, and that's what I'm going to be using here. So I'm just going to find the less attractive side, put it towards the jig so that I match up those 2 pocket holes together, and I'm going to be drilling those 2 holes. Time to assemble the legs. On the sides here, I have the boards that we cut that are 22.5 inches, and then we have those 17.5 here in the middle. I want to move up 4 inches from the base, which is right here. Go ahead and make a mark there, just to make sure I know I'm in the right spot. And then make sure the top is also lined up where it should be. And just to make sure everything goes together well here with the pocket holes, I'm once again going to put some clamps right here across the edge just to keep things from moving around. Nothing too serious. Sometimes these pocket holes want to jump around whenever you put them together, so it's nice to have that extra little push there. Now, I'm going to be using 2 pocket hole screws in each of the connections here. And that's just going to hold things together real nice and tight. All right, now that I have all the components built here, it's time to assemble everything. So I've got 2 sets of these legs, and then I've got the top and the shelf, and then the last 2 pieces were these left over, and I'll show you what those are for here in just a moment. So to begin this, I'm going to take one leg, and then I'm going to take this heavy top piece, and what I want to do is place this where it's going to go here, and then these extra pieces that I have are actually going to go in here as separator pieces. So it's going to look the same around these corners here and just look really nice. So let me find, let's see. So I'm going to be using the same 2.5 inch pocket hole screws, and I'm just going to be going straight through here, but in my experience, it's better to pre-drill when working with pine like this. So that's what I'm going to do first. Okay, I've got this lined up where I want it. I'm just going to come through here and pre-drill a couple of these. I feel like 3 is going to be plenty here. I probably better extend this bit so that it goes into the bottom down there. Okay, so 2.5 inch screw. I'm just going to apply this straight down. Very cool. All right, now the next step is to move over here, and you'll see this piece here has got those pocket holes in there. I'm probably going to turn it up this way so that you can't see those pocket holes, and I'm just going to line up the edge here and then put pocket holes in there to shore this thing up. This is what the top and the legs looks like whenever it has been assembled here. I just put 1 screw on these middle pieces, and then they are attached back here with the pocket holes, as you can see here. So that should be more than enough to get this stabilized. Now it's time to get the shelf on, and that will be the end of the woodworking portion. I noticed that whenever I built the bottom here, it has kind of a curve to it, which is not good, but I think we can remedy that. So you'll notice that there is a cross piece here and over there, and we added that extra piece here. So what I want to do is have the extra piece go out that direction, and which means that this piece over here will finish that curve. So I got a couple of clamps that I'm hoping I can hold this up with. Let's see here. Hoping it'll match things up nicely. And if I come over here and do the same, I'm just hoping I can get this thing to go back into place with all these clamps. I might use some more of them here in the middle to try and get that thing from bowing so bad. Whenever working alone, the clamp idea seems to be really helpful. Man, that looks so nice. So, have everything finished up here. A couple things I'm seeing could have done a little better with right here. Let's see if I can focus that. There we go. See, there's a line in there, but it's not too bad. It's actually going to be covered by that metal piece later. So I'm liking this. Another issue I found is that this piece was just slightly too long here. So I could either hit that with a plane or just put it against the wall, which is probably what I'll do. And also, for some reason, this thing had that slope to it. So as you can see, it's a little off back there, but man, I'm pleased with that. So my next step is to hit it with the 220 sandpaper, and then to match our bed frame, I'm going to be using this, let's see, focus here. It's classic gray 271 on there, and it should look quite nice. And then after that, we will be attaching the metal pieces here on the corner to really finish it up. While you weren't watching, I decided to sand everything again with a 220 disc, so it is nice and smooth now. To match the king-size bed frame that I built a while back, I'm going to be using the gray 271 stain, and that should look really nice here. So let's go ahead and get this applied, Probably going to do 2 coats just to make sure everything matches the current setup we have inside. So hopefully I can just use a brush here and get this applied. I let the stain sit overnight and I think it is looking amazing. Had a little discoloration right here, but you know what? That's just how the wood goes. So the next step and the final step is to get these painted L brackets installed. These are going to go here at the bottom like this, and then up under here. Let's see, focus. There we go, up under there. And to get these in place, they're not going to be structural. They're just going to use or be installed with these upholstery tacks here. See if I can focus in on one so you can see it. I got 100 of these on Amazon, so I'll have the link in the description down below. So let's go ahead and get these L brackets installed. Just going to take one of the L brackets and put it into position here, and then just using a tack, I'm going to find the center here and press that in a bit. And then I'm just going to use a hammer to lightly tap that in there. Okay, and then now it just is a matter of putting the rest of these in here. I'm going to keep going till I have all 4 of those tacks in there. Just wrapped up this build. Check it out. Have all of the L brackets with these upholstery tacks on here, and it looks quite stylish now. I'm really pleased with the results here. We'll have to go take this in the house real quick and see what we think about the finished product here. Well, I think the build turned out really nice. My wife's going to be very happy with this. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up, and it would mean a lot to me if you would share on YouTube and Facebook and all the other places you share social media. Do check out the links in the description for the pocket hole jig, the upholstery tacks, and definitely check out my Land to House Ultralight sleeping pad. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.